Leigh Whannell directing a remake of The Wolfman has awesome written all over it. This is a man who directed an S tier remake of The Invisible Man that was in my top 3 favorite films of 2020, and it's also a remake I feel deserves to be in discussion with John Carpenter's The Thing. Hell, I even wrote a video essay for Nando V Movies about how awesome the first 10 minutes of that film are. Instead, we get a film that feels like a rejected Blumhouse script that Jason Blum gave to Leigh Whannell and said, "We have access to the Universal Studios monsters. Turn this into the Wolfman and make it modern." Actually, that theory doesn't seem far out of reach, given that Whannell serves as a co-writer on this film. Maybe it's because I watched this after Companion, which is more than likely going to be a candidate for my favorite films of 2025, but none of this works at all. For starters, we get a hackneyed generational trauma storyline between Christopher Abbott's character as a child and his father after a hunting trip gone awry. Fast forward 30 years later, and Abbott inherits the cliched cabin in the woods that will be the setting of this film. Wolfman is the polar opposite of Companion, as it is a film that clocks in at 102 minutes and feels like it is 2.5 hours long. This film is poorly paced, while nothing of worth happens in its first 2 acts, aside from the usual gimmicky Blumhouse jump scares. Christopher Abbott and Julia Garner are fine in their roles, but that's it. They don't really elevate these characters. When the third act does happen, it feels rather anticlimactic. The Wolfman 2010, I feel, gets a bad rap. While that film does have its issues, I still felt like it was a solid attempt at a remake. Wolfman, on the other hand, ends with a capital L that starts the credits. I think even Leigh Whannell felt this was a bad movie. I'm going to go ahead and give Wolfman a 1.5 out of 5.